Okay, guys. Hello again. This is Rashonda Thornton, the host of the Dietitian Against Diets podcast show. As always, my goal is to bring you superb guests that are here to motivate you, give you different ways of thinking, and they come from different industries. We need to create these platforms where there's positive talk that has applicable steps to allow you to learn how to live a healthier life and a life of freedom. So as I'm getting ready to introduce you to my guest, Gerald, Garrett Serd. He is the owner of, he acts as a women weight loss expert. And I'll talk a little bit more about him and what he does when we start the interview. But before we move on to the interview portion, I am not sure if you, how many episodes you've seen of mine, but I'm always talking about this company called Banner Road. And the reason why I enjoy talking about this company is because I stand behind every ingredient that they have that's inside of their granola. So yes, they are a granola company. But what's unique about Banner Rose is that not only is that all the ingredients are organic, but all their ingredients are pure. They work with other local farmers to get some of the dried fruit that they put inside their grains. Their granola, and their granola it really doesn't consist of the typical granola of just oatmeal and some dried raisins and maybe a couple of pieces of chocolate. They actually have a unique approach to granola. They have more of a savory line, anywhere from ginger to turmeric. They just bring together these unique flavors that gives you a whole different perspective of what granola is. So you're getting healthy, nutritious granola. There aren't any artificial sugars in there. Everything is organic, and it's coming to you in a different way. So it allows you to diversify if you want it as a cereal, as a snack, make your own homemade granola out of it. It just gives you a different sense of what granola can be. So go to their website at bannerrose.com, and you can order some of their products, see the different ones they have. If you're in the St. Louis area, or if you're in areas outside of Missouri, go to the website, type in your zip code, and they will give you locations in which their products are offered. So check them out also on Instagram at Banner Roads. Getting ready to introduce you to Garrett Serd. So before I introduce you to Garrett, I cannot go without talking about one of the moments that we have to start thinking about how we interact with foods. And it's really important because when you think about the concept of eating healthy, it's a combination of being anxious but being excited because you really don't know what to expect. You have all these goals, what you want to reach. But what typically ends up happening is that you also take a deep, heavy breath because you know that there's going to be challenges. There's going to be moments of being uncomfortable. There's going to be moments where you feel like you just can't make it through. And then sometimes we kick the can. So start thinking this way now. When it comes to healthy food, again, I'm not going to go into the realm of diets. I work around diets. I work outside of diets. When we think about healthy foods, it's not about taking away. It's not about having less of. It's not about moving food groups away to where you're not enjoying those. It's not about finding that balance where you're actually enjoying life while you're eating healthy. We always think to eat healthy, we got to take away, take. We got to be deprived of something. We got to live. We got to suffer. It's suffrage. I really don't agree with that. And the reason why is because I believe in the concept of when you're eating healthy, instead of thinking of taking away, think about giving yourself more. I had a podcast guest, her name is Georgie Fear, and she had the perfect analogy of understanding giving yourself more. We're taught to take away, to suffer, and to sacrifice. But when it comes to healthy eating, give yourself more, but give yourself more nutrients. Give your body more nutrients, give it the more depth of what it needs to live off of. And so when you give yourself more, some of the things that you really don't need, it's not self-serving to your body and to your health, some of that slowly just kind of rolls off the plate or rolls off the shelf or just kind of rolls away from your life just naturally because now you're giving yourself more things that benefit your health, that benefits you, gives you that energy, gives you that confidence, allows you to see your body at what it should be. And then that other things that are not as self-serving, that's not going to be beneficial to you, they naturally just start to fall off. And so you start learning to, instead of taking away from your life to your foods, you start just giving yourself more of that good stuff, more of that good, healthy food. So start thinking in that realm of what giving yourself more means. But when you do think of that, just remember this. giving yourself more is nothing you should feel bad about, nothing you should feel guilty about. It's sometimes hard for us to think of, I'm going to give myself more. Well, you want to have to be able to give yourself more because you deserve it. So give yourself more and be okay with it. And when you can kind of put those two together, it just changes how you walk. It changes how you think. It allows you to be a little bit selfish. And there's nothing wrong with being selfish because we should want to take care of ourselves the best we can for the rest of our lives. So when it comes to your food and your interaction with food, when you want to eat healthy or you're going on this healthy wagon, your thought process is not taken away. Your thought process is giving yourself more what's going to better serve you, more what's going to make your body healthy and you healthy. And take that as your direction, your guide when it comes to just making those choices that's better for you. So again, share this. Even just using that simple phrase, give yourself more. That could be like a mantra you can just kind of start using. Put it in your phone as your screensaver. Make a little like sticky notes around the house. Just think in that realm of giving yourself more and see how that translates into a feeling of peace, a feeling of freedom. And you also in a position of power of your choices with food. So start giving yourself more, not thinking about taking away. Getting ready to introduce you to Garrett. Okay. I don't know if it's good afternoon, good morning, but wherever you're at, I want to welcome you to the Dietitian Against Diets podcast show. If you haven't seen any of my episodes, I want to introduce myself. My name is Rashonda Thornton. I want to introduce you also to my guest, Garrett Serd. He's also known as Coach G. One of the couple of things I like about him so far is that he takes nutrition seriously and he also goes underneath the layers of nutrition. So he is a dietitian. Not only he's a dietitian, he's a certified personal trainer. So he has collapsed both nutrition and fitness together. One thing unique about Garrett and his company called Tandem Nutrition is that it's all about women from what I gather. So basically it's an online coaching program that's created not just to help women to lose some of that fat weight, but also help them to empower them and learn how to change with confidence forever. So and he's also the women's fat loss expert. So I'm really curious about that. But I want to welcome you to the show, Garrett, and just say, I'm really excited about this conversation because we have so much aligned with each other in the way we approach nutrition and the people we work with.
Yeah, I'm so excited, Rashonda. Thank you for this opportunity, and I'm excited to dive in and chat more.
Yeah. Now, real quick, where are you from right now? Where are you at?
So I'm in Indianapolis right now.
Okay, got it. All right, cool. So we're probably in the same time zone. We're here in St. Louis. Yep, you're in the Central Time. Yeah. So yes, one thing I do know is that you have created your company since 2012. So you've been going 12 years strong, right? 2012, 2020. I get my numbers. 8 years. 8 years strong. You have, for some reason, you have decided this is a route that you want to take. So what I would love to know, I'm always curious because when I see people, especially entrepreneurs and in a wellness realm, this is not, especially being a dietitian, this is not an easy route to take. But it's a reason why you're choosing to go this direction and why you have created Tandem Nutrition. So could you just speak a little bit upon that first?
Absolutely. Thank you, Rashonda. So when I was 16 years old, I'm 32 now, I developed a really tough eating disorder. And that really just put me on the path to just be super passionate and to want to learn as much as I could about nutrition, fitness, getting healthy and strong and more powerful. And it was through that experience where I got on the track of becoming a registered dietitian. I just want to learn how to, to gain more muscle mass and to lose fat effectively. Even though I didn't need to lose fat that time, I always wanted to know how to stay lean. So I was 16. I started off through my academic career, went to Louisiana Tech University for my undergraduate degree, went to the University of Nebraska-Lincoln for my master's degree along with the internship. And then I ended up in Indiana because I started this business under a mentor that is also an uncle of mine. And so one of the things that I personally suffered with was this concept of just really restrictive dieting, not knowing there were so many diets there, not knowing which is best for losing fat and for being healthy and all the things that were told from the media that may be good for us. And I just had a lot of experience myself. And my main goal with this company is to help women break their chains of restrictive dieting and the emotions that come with facing foods as good and bad, and just to help them live free of guilt and to help them live a healthy life while achieving and maintain the goals that they have.
I really appreciate that, that you have taken this route. Because I can really connect because obviously, when we get our education as a dietitian, we get the proper, like just the framework of just understanding nutrition, how it processes in our body. But that big piece that I think is missing, and I think you can agree, is that psychological piece, that psychological emotional connection that people don't have because they feel like in order to look a certain way, they have to have these set of rules, right? Mm-hmm. And so when you have a set of rules, you don't connect to the rule book. You just follow the rules. And so what I'm hearing is for you is that you're putting together the emotional and psychological piece to it to help women really understand the why they're doing what they're doing versus just following the process.
Absolutely. Yes, ma'am. Like we're very science-based. We know what the book says, but we also take time to listen to our clients and hear what they have to say. Then we take a blend of science and their own personal preferences, take time to hear them, what they're facing, and then customize strategies for them based upon their goals they have, and really working that mindset piece too. Throughout my internship, I learned a lot about nutrition, but not a lot about mindset. And mindset is, I realized, Rashonda, mindset is so big when it comes to transforming your physique and also adopting and maintaining very important balanced habits as well.
Yeah. And so I totally agree. And that's why I think it's important too, like, it's never to our profession, our education. That's such a well needed piece, and all we're doing is adding on that additional connector between how to really help people not just like to lose the fat or lose the weight, but how can they live a life of freedom and a life of confidence that can perpetuate to where this becomes something that's like forever. And I think that's one thing too, like. You can probably agree, you come across any magazine or any website that tells you to lose 20 pounds in 20 days or something like that. And then it's always a question that I ask is, what happens on day 21? Like, what happens the following days? Or have you learned anything in those 20 days you can apply to your life long term? And always the question is no. Now, obviously with women, and I'm a woman as myself, there's a lot of hats that women wear. They're provider, they're caregivers, they're the selfless ones. There's so many different moving pieces. Then they compete against themselves and also the woman next to them. So when you have decided to create this more women-centered nutrition service, like why have you decided women are the ones that you want to give and provide this service to?
Right. That's a great question. When we first started out, we, branded ourselves working with men and women. And then we built this community called the Tandem Tone-Up community, and we just saw the need. We saw the desired change and all the questions coming from women, and also just from a strategy of wanting to reach more women. We knew that if we spoke to only the women, we'd reach more women versus speaking to everyone that you would no one would hear you. Versus if you speak to that one population, and our goal is to impact thousands of people around the world, and being in the online space allows us to do that, and then focusing on one specific niche, it really allows us to put one marketing or several marketing messages toward that one group or toward women and let them really understand that we're effective in helping them change behaviors in their lifestyles.
And I think that's a really great way to approach it because, especially if let's say you're a female and you're new to exercise, you're new to like understanding what nutrition is best for you. You don't know, you're like just caught up in the generalization of what healthy eating is, nutrition. But as far as women, we are unique, and we're not just unique from the other gender, but we're also unique within ourselves. And so I think that is really great that you guys have just kind of take on that part of the horn and really want to help these women and really focus on their needs, not just, here's needs for everyone. Oh, by the way, since you can jump in too. You kind of just like really customize it around that. And I saw like your team, like you have a nice, depthness of team that's in your company. And they all have different specializations. I've seen one that's more so focused on the psychology part of it. I mean, I've seen different varieties of coaches that I feel like, to me, it sounds like it's a power team. Now, how do you guys all kind of cohese together?
Well, just kind of like how I went from Louisiana to, I guess, now Indiana, I really believe that that it was just the path that kind of God has put me on throughout my life. And it was, almost by coincidence that I met, each one of these people individually. And I wasn't necessarily looking for coaches because we have one of our core values is excellence and a high quality of providing information and providing the best coaching services. So for a long time, I didn't even want a team because like there's no one else that could do this quality of work at this level. But then
Yes.
I realized I found someone and I'm like, wow, this person's amazing. Then I'm like, we started growing, like we need another coach. And so like it just kind of worked like that, and very thankful for our team. They're like family to me, and they're just a great group of nutrition experts, and have just so much passion for people and purpose in helping women achieve their goals.
And I think that's really cool that you have these people, you guys have kind of gravitated towards each other. Because as you find, when you decide to go in this realm and really work on the mindset, work on like the emotional part of it, it can be taxing. If you're good at it, sometimes it's a skill that you're born with that you just polish off, and you can't really teach someone how to have that intuition or to have that consistency or have that passion to really want to just help that person just wholeheartedly. So it's really great that the team that you have around you have the same way that they want to really make these type of change in these women's lives. I think that's really great. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm super thankful. I couldn't ask for a better team, and they're super hardworking. And I hope that maybe we can look to hire another coach in the near future. But I guess let us know if that's a good thing or not.
Well, with the women that you're having, it's to me when I'm hearing about new organizations or companies for the first time, it's everyone has a story that that has just really resonated with them and just kind of sometimes helped them to pivot to make these changes. When some of the women that you work with, what are some common things that women that you find are struggling with when it comes to just trying to lose that 10 pounds or just trying to feel confident in the dress they used to wear, 10 years ago? Like, what are some of those common tugs that you find with women?
Yeah, I'd say some of the most common struggles or obstacles are just one, belief in their self, believe that they can do it, believe they're worthy enough to make that change, and they're capable of making that change and then maintain that change for life. Another one is patience. Even myself, I struggle with that too, with wanting to make sure that we achieve our goal as quickly as possible. Rashonda, you and I both know that just weight loss, or just any weight loss, is not a good thing, because we're looking for fat loss and not just weight loss, because weight loss could mean loss of muscle mass too. We make sure we maximize muscle retention, really tone up the muscle mass, lose fat, while creating sustainable lifestyle changes throughout their habits and their schedule. And so I'd say patience is a big one as well. And I would say maybe knowledge too. I think a lot of times, as you see in media, can portray different diets as healthy and sustainable, and there's different detoxes that I think our liver, kidneys, and lungs can do a much better job at. But I think there's so much information out there that sometimes it's hard for us to decipher what's science-based, what's factual, and what should maybe they try based upon their own preferences and what they enjoy most.
Yeah. So knowing that they're worth it, having patience, and being educated. And that's kind of that's what's resonated to me. And I'm repeating it because those are big deals. When we think about change, first of all, we think change, the quicker it happens, the better the change is, right?
Right.
And then a lot of times, even if you change quickly, it takes time to learn, to grow, to change, to learn more, to grow, to change. So you can't even acquire all the tools or information you need within a short span of time. So taking in consideration, that's why patience and time is so important, because if you want to be educated for life, not just to lose that 10 pounds, right? You want to be educated for life. So that takes time. But one of the biggest piece when you said, my heart just fluttered, because this is the messaging that I especially talk to about women, is allowing themselves to put themselves first and be okay with it. Because a lot of times guilt rides with putting yourself first, because you think you're putting everyone else super last and you're being selfish, And so, I want to give you an opportunity to really kind of speak on your perspective with that, because that to me is really what I try to help women to know that they're enough, and you're worth going to the store to get your fresh fruits and vegetables. You're worth cutting up the fruits and vegetables. You're worth taking the time and go outside and getting your own exercise. You are worth every minute of it. And so I think sometimes that's lost, because we feel like if we're going to take care of ourselves, then we can take care of others, when it's actually it's the paradox. When we are able to take care of ourselves, we, as you know, can take care of others. So how would you speak upon like that big chunk right there that's the hardest struggle for women, which is just actually knowing that they're worth it and that it's okay to be selfish?
Absolutely. That is so common with the women that we work with and speak with. And, I truly believe that one of the most common things that we see is this subject tied along with not having a lot of time. And so we pour a lot of energy and passion into that mindset piece, coach them through, why they are worthy enough to make this change, and why they would benefit greatly from putting themselves first versus always going after helping someone else first too. And I think a lot of time is changing small habits. I think a lot of women and even guys too, they think that, they had to make a lifestyle change, like start going to the gym right away. But even just look at your schedule, finding small habits, small time slots to doing even a little bit of exercise or movement. And when I say exercise, we're big on just step goals. Like, we don't think that everyone should do cardio. Is great. It can definitely help with fat loss, but is it essential for fat loss? Absolutely not. And so I think hearing that, like, oh, wow, so I don't have to go to the gym and leave my family at home for 2 hours when I get home from work, or helping them find time in the mornings when maybe they get up at 8 or 9 and maybe helping them get up earlier. But I think that coaching aspect of working with the coach, working that psychology part, and working on affirmations too. Affirmations are huge. That's what I do every morning. That's what we do with our clients as well, saying, I am enough, I'm worthy, I'm going to make this happen. My family, friends, community are going to be better and healthier because of it.
And that is so true. Like, that's the change in conversation. It's a change in conversation that you have with yourself, and that's another part of it too. Like, you change the story, you change the conversation, which changes your mindset, which changes your actions. And then it reinforces itself, because then you feel good that you took that time. You feel good you chose to have something that's self-serving to your body. And then you feel like it starts building on that I am enough mountain. And that's, to me, like, you start changing the conversation. Again, no food is good or bad. You're never in a victim position, and you don't want to feel like you're living without, or having to restrict so much. Like, it's really, to me, when you start connecting nutrition and your life and you kind of marry them together, to me, it really should be an expression of like freedom and just happiness, because you learn, you're learning things about yourself. You're learning to apply these foods in your life because it's best for you and you deserve it. And to me, like, that's the bigger picture, is helping women, especially, learning what life of freedom is. And it's not feeling like you are limited on what you can have. There's a plethora, like, as a dietitian, there's a plethora of healthy foods out there, and they're so tasty. But until we can kind of use our expertise and our passion behind that to help people on even an individual level to find what that means for them and to live that life that reflects happiness and freedom for them. And like you said, it takes a lot of listening. And it seems to me like your coaches, that's a part of it, is making sure that you're listening to what they're just saying, not just telling them, the top things that they should think about, but working with them, not trying to talk to them.
Absolutely. And what you said was so important too, Rashonda. You mentioned helping that person find what works best for them and what they enjoy. I think that's so important, because I think we can both agree, Rashonda, that America doesn't have a weight loss problem. We can always, anyone can lose 10 pounds in how many never days. But what's most important is learning how to keep that weight off for life, and educating them on, like, hey, there are other ways that you can lose body fat in ways that may be not reflection of the most popular diet out there. Like, as you mentioned, there's no good foods and there's no bad foods. You don't have to eat perfect. You don't have to be perfect. What's most important is be consistent with the foods you love within a protein-focused calorie deficit, and that will bring about the best results, especially if someone's weight training and they're being consistent with that and hitting their protein needs too. Not that you mentioned this, but I feel like I'd say 95% of the women we work with come in and they're probably 30, 40, 50 grams below their optimal protein need. And just making that small adjustment without even making a big shift in calories can really bring about some positive transformative changes in their body composition.
Gary, you make it sound so simple.
Maybe habits are great for sustainable change.
Yes. I mean, I like, and that's one thing. It's not really as complicated as we are told or we think it should be. It really can be quite simple. I mean, actually, I saw on your website you had a particular podcast that you called. I don't want to ask you about it. You talked about the three effective weight loss strategies that the diet industry won't tell you. So if you could just kind of give me a quick snippet of what those particular strategies are. And also, I think if someone really wants to know all of it, they just have to go to your podcast and listen to it.
Absolutely. Yeah. And we're several podcasts behind, but the biggest thing is I go over the importance of, again, there's no perfect diet. And I also talk about the importance of phasic dieting, which is essentially not dieting forever. The body is not meant to diet forever. In fact, the body sees fat loss as a threat to its survival. And so dieting for long periods of time in hopes to achieve your big goal and like keep that weight off, it's not realistic, especially if someone has more than 20, 30 pounds to lose. And so that's why we pour a lot of belief and coaching into our metabolic reset phase, which really acts to help to increase the calories, the dieting calories of the dieter, allowing them to lose fat faster and easier than before while maintaining the weight they achieved throughout their last fat loss phase. It's kind of like running an ultra marathon. If you have two people, like person A and person B, if someone's going to run like 100 miles, I always ask the client, who do you think would be feeling better and are much able to sustain their results and have a better performance at the end? Someone who just goes straight off, runs 100 miles without stopping, they're worn out, they have no food, they're about to die, and they can't, then they have to rest for like probably weeks upon end when they get done, or that person who goes 25 miles, takes a quick break, has some fuel and goes at it again. They're going to perform better. They're going to feel better after they're done. And we know through science that people who take diet breaks, they retain more muscle mass, they lose more body fat, they have a higher basal metabolic rate at the end, and they're much more likely to sustain that weight long term because they took these breaks and made it more sustainable by not grinding their calories so low towards the end of their diet.
Got it. So let's talk a bit about like the metabolic reset state. Is that essentially the state? Does the program? I can't think of the word. The metabolic reset phase.
Yes, ma'am. Yep.
Okay. So is that essentially what that is, and which how you're describing it?
Correct. Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
So we just want the dieting, like we have, there's fat loss phases, we call them fat loss phases, and we call those phases metabolic reset phases, which come after a fat loss phase. And we also have diet breaks, which are like smaller metabolic reset phases, and also lean muscle gain phases as well.
Okay. And so could you just kind of, and I know what the whole goal of what I want people to do is really go to your website and really learn more about it. But for those who just maybe just having maybe just randomly listening to the podcast, could you give us a synopsis of like, what's the benefit of it for those women that are seeking it? And also, are there certain women that should consider it and some that should not? Just so they can make sure they are, feeling like they're making a decision that is going to give them that long-term change.
Absolutely. And this type of phase, there's no like gimmicks to it. It's essentially whole food, protein focused dieting, just like a fat loss phase would be. The only change we're making is we're just increasing calories slowly over time to prevent weight gain, but also to help with increasing our metabolic capacity or the fat loss potential. And so essentially, I truly believe that any woman who has more than 10 pounds of body weight to lose can benefit from this phase. And, or said another way, any woman who can accomplish their fat loss goals within 10 to 12 weeks, they wouldn't really need to do this phase. They can transition right into what we call a maintenance phase. But this metabolic reset phase, the main benefit is that you're able to lose fat in a way. So the goal is not to lose fat throughout this phase. Think of this phase as like you finish 12 weeks of dieting. So this phase comes after a 12 to 15 week dieting period. So maybe you started your calories at 1,700, you got down to 1,300, you're getting more hungry, you're getting more tired, fatigued, irritable. That's not sustainable. We want to make this diet more sustainable. So we transition you right into a metabolic reset phase. We bring you right to your new maintenance energy needs. The goal is not to gain weight. You may gain a little bit of body weight from one, you're eating more carbs and sodium, which bring you more water into your muscle. You're eating more food, which will cause you to your gut to weigh more. And also throughout this phase, by week 8 or 9, you could be putting on some more muscle mass, which will increase the scale too. But the goal is to kind of recharge your fat loss battery. So what that looks like is after 12 to 15 weeks of dieting, you would increase the maintenance and you'd slowly increase your calories up from that 1,300 to maybe 1,375 to 1,450 to 1,600, maybe back up to your pre-dieting levels, so that the next time you start dieting in maybe 10 weeks, you're still at that same body weight you ended your last fat loss phase with, but you're eating significantly more calories. So the next time you start to lose fat, which is maybe 10 weeks later, you're starting at a higher calorie level, which will allow for, again, faster, you have more potential to drop calories down again to push for more fat loss, making it easier, more sustainable. You have more motivation, less fatigue, more energy, and also better performances in the gym, allowing for more muscle growth and maintenance too. As you push throughout your second fat loss phase, again, you'll diet again for 10 to 12 weeks and then start that process over again if you have not reached your goal yet.
Got it. So essentially, I'm kind of make it a little bit more, because I'm here. I know people are like listening to it and they're all in it, but I hope they hit repeat so they can hear it over again. But I'll tell you what I gleaned from it. So essentially, once you go through your phase of where you have lost a significant or a good amount of weight, or you're a weight number, all we're doing now is kind of reboosting that metabolism to kind of get that furnace kind of going back up to catalyze your metabolic rate. I'm assuming, right? And that's bringing you up to a certain maintenance weight number, which is far as your calories. So you're bringing it up, and you're not just bringing it up with just empty foods. You're bringing it up with whole foods. So you're bringing it up with real food, right? And so just for people that are out there, as dietitians, we're all about bringing in real food, because that's what your body's meant to process. Your body processes it the most effective and efficient way when you give it the tool, to give it the appropriate types of food. So away from the processed food, away from the heavy fried foods, give your body the real stuff, and it will actually function not only just for weight loss, but just overall health. Nutrition heals your body, right? So your body just becomes more optimized. It recovers better. It performs better. All the different things happen when you just bring in whole food. And so for me, for once we get your body into that phase where it's caloric, its metabolism has kind of increased, and then we kind of shifted down back to where we can put it back into that setting where we're going back into the more of the fat loss, right? And then is it kind of like an ebb and flow until they reach their overall body composition, I would say, instead of more so weight. They'll lose that fat in a way that their original goal was. And at the same time, they're learning how to maintain healthy eating at the entire time of it.
Exactly. Yes, man, you said that perfectly. And you had mentioned how the purpose is to increase metabolism. That was spot on. Our whole goal is to help to upregulate just some hormones that cause our metabolism to decrease, because as we diet down, we have a few hormones that start to go down, which makes losing fat more. And so this purpose of this phase is just to bring those hormones back up, increase your body's metabolism, and just work to again, just make the fat loss process easier. So there's not any restriction. I don't take women less than 200 calories per day. I think it's too low, unless you're maybe 100 pounds, and maybe in that case you may not need to lose weight, but unless you're just really small. But we just really believe in healthy, sustainable, flexible fat loss dieting. And from our experiences, getting women really low in calories is not sustainable, nor is it healthy, short or long term.
Yeah. Okay. No, I totally get it. And I like that you brought in the hormone piece, because a lot of times, especially with women, they, as you're aging, as you I guess I want to say age, I want to say as you become more and more like wine get finer with time, your body changes. There's actually was a dietitian that made a statement to me once when I brought him on, and I never thought about it. He said, at whatever, let's say you're 25, right? You have a way that you eat at 25. Even if you, let's say, went on a more healthy route with eating, when you're 30, when you're 35, when you're 40, you're a different person. Your body is physiologically different at each part of your growth. So your goal is not really to, you can't just you can't get yourself the way that you ate, or your route of eating is not going to be the same, as you're getting older. So it's kind of learn how to respect where you're at in your body, and use that and create your best efforts to make that a healthy body. Again, you've brought in the hormone part. I think a lot of women are going to go through those phases, and that is an issue. That what slows down our ability to burn fat. But you seem like you have come up with a solution that can kind of help catalyze that, but also not taking away the fact that we need to still feed our body. And I think that's what's so important. I have a question for you, and the reason why I asked you this, because it seems like this is the hub of your messaging is the need of people to gain self-confidence, and not just confidence in what's in the mirror and if it's shaping out the way I want, but confidence in how they're treating their body as far as their nutrition, even like having the confidence knowing, am I doing the right thing? Because a lot of times people, they don't really know if they're doing the right thing, or they're thinking, oh, because I didn't lose the amount of weight at the time that I wanted to, I'm not doing the right thing. So I really think building that self-confidence, and I think that probably is what comes along with your coaching, because you really want to uproot people to where they know how to do it themselves, right? It's where they're not having to be with you for their whole, I mean, to me, it's a disservice. Like if you got to be with me for the next 15 years to keep your weight down, then what's going on with this relationship? So it sounds like to me that one of the things that you guys provide on top of just direction is really helping to build these women's self-confidence. So when they're ready to walk out on their own, they know exactly what to do and what's best for their body, and they have a freedom with that.
Exactly. And one of the things, that's the biggest reason why we named our business Tandem Nutrition, because, we really believe in working closely one-on-one in tandem with our clients. Mm-hmm. Meeting them at, we don't have a one-size-fits-all approach. Everyone is in different spots throughout their fat loss journey. And by meeting that person where they're at, and again, there's no expression of shame, because we're all learning new things. We're all different in where we're at, and helping that person just, keeping to their promises of, maybe walking for 3 times a week for 10 minutes, that builds self-confidence. And seeing that first 10 pounds come off, that builds self-confidence. And just being consistent with the habits and making time for themselves and seeing themselves transform in the mirror, all those small things build self-confidence. And I really think it's from that, just being willing to meet the client where they're at, understand where they're coming from, listen without always wanted to say or tell, but listen to understand, and use reflections and, motivational interviewing to really understand where their client's coming from and help them to where they want to go.
Yeah, I like that, because I looked up, I had to go look up the word tandem to kind of wrap my head around the title. But like you say, when you're in tandem with something, you're in it. Like you're on the same, you're in a team. Like seems like to me like you guys work in line with your client. You work with your clients. When somebody thinking about their nutrition and like they're gonna go see a dietitian or see someone that's a nutrition expert, they automatically think that they're going to a service that's going to give them something to take. And you can't just give somebody something. You have to be in it with them. You got to teach them how to use it, not just give them the tool, like teach them how to use it. And that to me is kind of, I'm wrapping around like a part of what you guys do that make you guys so unique. Like you're in it with that client. And I think that's so awesome, because it takes a special person or special people to take that extra step. But doing that is, to me, how you're going to create real change, because you can't just spit out, random, hey, do this, don't do that type of thing. You really got to, because everyone is different, right? Like you just said, like every person has different personalities. They have different things that sets them off. They have different struggles that they have that we don't really know about yet. Like you got to get in there with them. And that to me shows that you really care about your clients. You care about not just changing their bodies, but changing their life. And that's the beautiful part to me that I like about your company. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. We just love people, and we want to see a change made in this world while we're here. And we're excited to have the opportunity to serve our community and those in need.
Yeah. So great. So I want to know, like, do you guys have any programs that are kind of in motion, or like kind of what are some things you guys either have coming up to the forefront or already kind of have going on that allows people to kind of learn how to get in there and work with you guys?
Yeah, so we have several programs that we branded the Tone Up programs, and Tone Up stands for Tandem's official nutrition and exercise united program for women. And this is our official women's fat loss programs. And we put united because, again, we have a special Facebook group called the Tandem Tone Up community. It is only women. We believe in women coming together to support one another, to encourage one another, and to help one another achieve their goals. So it's a Facebook group of over 1,500 women who post questions, who provide replies, who share resources. And we're going live in there every week with our podcasts, sharing like free videos and live lessons. We're introducing new clients in there and like giving them just encouragement and praise. And I'm sorry, I totally forgot where I'm going.
No, I get it. Like I'm the same way. Like I love it that you just all so passionate about it where it can go left or right. But no, I'm listening to you. You have the Facebook group. That's kind of a support group. And I was actually about a different program. So you talked about the Tone Up weight loss program.
Yes, ma'am. So I'm sorry. Thank you for that. We have the Tone Up program. We have a Tone Up VIP program, and also the Tone Up Elite program as well. So 3 different programs that just differ in level of support, accountability, and one-on-one touch. But each of our clients, regardless of whether program that they're in, they have their own personal Tandem Nutrition coach, 24/7 access to them, and to myself too. So even though I don't have many one-on-one clients, I still open up my access to all our clients anytime through text and through our group, just because I want them to reach out to me when they have questions, just like I want them to reach out to their coach too. So we really believe in education, and we believe that we want our clients to ask questions when they want to, so they can start to act on what they learned, to start and begin making those sustainable changes in their lifestyle sooner rather than later.
Got it. Totally got it. Yes. As we're getting ready to wrap it up, before I let people know how to reach you, I got one question for you. What is it that just makes your heart sing and let you and reassures you that you're doing the right thing at the right time as far as your career and this baby of yours called Tandem Nutrition?
I believe in my heart that everyone deserves to be happy. At the core of my soul, I truly believe that everyone deserves that. And so I'm an empath. So when I feel like there's pain in someone, I take in those feelings. And so I know what it feels like, even from my childhood, my past experiences. I know what it feels like not to be loved, not to feel worthy, not to feel like your best self. And it's my goal to, and even as a team, to create this team of passionate, people to help serve those who just want to get to their best self and to be happy. Like, it's a lot of times I go into situations, I do really weird things to make people laugh. I mean, because I want to see people happy and smiling. Yes. And that's one of the things we do with our community, is do great things to make their lives better. That's what drives me every day.
Love it. I love it. When people ask me, when I tell people about what I do as a dietitian, I say I use nutrition as my vehicle to help people to be happy. I use it as a vehicle. That? Yes. All I want at the end of the day, because when you see people every day, they walk around in the skin that they don't want to be in. They walk around this cloud of self-doubt. They're not loving themselves. And guess what? They're not happy. So if we as dietitians can continue to do things like this, where we're working on nutrition, we're working on way more nutrition. But all that comes, we can use our expertise and our passion to help people to find another way that how they can find their own happiness. Because guess what? When those women that you work with, when they feel so good about how they see themselves, they feel so good about how they treat themselves, the numbers are changing, their lives are changing. Guess what? They're happy. And that's what's most important. So again, when we speak the same language, and it's so warming to hear other dietitians that really have their goal to help people be happy. So now we just continue to find ways to do that in our own individual way, but still collectively. So I really appreciate, you coming on here and just kind of giving us just the meat of what you do and why you do,
Oh, well, thank you, Rashawn. It's been a great pleasure, and I'm a big fan of you and what you do too. And thank you for allowing me to come on today to chat more about what I'm passionate about and to share some of my stories with your group today.
Yeah, I love it. Yes, you're very welcome, and thank you for coming on. But before we head out, I have to make sure I give you this platform to let people know like how to get in contact with you personally, or with some of your coaches on Tandem Nutrition, or even like what are some easy gateways so they can kind of learn a little bit more about what you guys are about, so they can find out if this is something that's best fit for them.
Yeah, so one of the best places to go to just get more information is our website. It's tandemnutrition.com, and I invite everyone to join our free Facebook community too. It's you can go to Facebook, you can go to tandemnutrition.com/Facebook to join, and then also you can contact me at Garrett@tandemnutrition.com. I answer all my emails, and I'd be more than happy to help those with questions and just be a resource for others as well.
Got it. Love it. Well, everyone, as you see, there's more people that are have the same perspective as I have in finding ways to make changes. I always say, as a dietitian, I'm the dietitian against diets, but it's not the diet, it's a diet mentality. Feeling confined, feeling that's a yes or no, feeling there's a good or bad, and feeling like you're represented by those foods you choose to call bad. It's a mindset shift that we want you as dietitians to now just start thinking differently about yourself. And for me, to you, that would create those step changes that's going to lead to that confidence that Garrett was just talking about and leading to the happiness. So that's what we're here for, is we want you to do. So thank you, Garrett, again, for being on the podcast show. For those who are out there, look him up, find out more about his company and all his other coaches, because if he represents his coaches, I can only imagine what the other ones are like. So I'm sure there's someone on there that's going to help meet your needs, and they're in it to win it with you. So look them up, find out more about them, and you never know, maybe a great best opportunity for you. Thank you guys for coming on, and I'll see you guys next week. Good conversation as always. Thanks for coming on. As we're getting ready to come out of this particular podcast show, I got to speak upon a company. I'm sure you've seen their billboards. I'm sure you've seen their products in the grocery stores. Prairie Farms. Yeah, Prairie Farms, we know since 1938, they're a farm-owned organization. So they're all about local, everything that all the dairy product that you get from them, there's a mileage that's within 50 miles or less to where these products came from. So you have confidence knowing that all your dairy products are coming from a place that's local, coming from a place that's not too far down the road. It gives you that confidence. It lets you know it's not a commercial setup to where you don't know how long that milk has been sitting, inside the refrigerator. Typically, it's like a one-day turnover. So if you want fresh dairy products that's full of high nutrients, and you have people that's behind it, that's been working hard, especially during these COVID periods, to produce that for you, it gives you a different appreciation for what they stand for. They have a variety, everywhere from cheeses to sour creams. We also know of obviously milk. We got Greek yogurt. They have a variety of ways to bring in that healthy, nutritious food to you. Go to their website, learn more about them, learn why they stand above others when it comes to dairy products and why they do what they do. Go to their website at prairiefarms.com or find them on Instagram at Prairie Farms.